Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. Once again, just at the start of the video, just want to say a huge thank you to everyone. Thank you for the comments, the likes, the subscribes. Really appreciate the kind of energy that we're getting with this channel. So really appreciate every single one of you, and thank you so much. Now, the long-awaited reaction video to Joseph Alai's new video. So he posted a couple of times on Instagram, and that was kind of when he first came back, just the first post kind of saying, I'm back, I'm okay, etc. And then another post talking about manifesting some concert tickets with his sister to see the Red Hot Chili Peppers. And after that, he posted a video. He's then since made another Instagram post. I'm trying to reserve judgment. I haven't seen the video because I wanted to save it to watch it with you guys to do a reaction to it. And I wanted it to be a genuine, I didn't want to sort of know what he was going to say. So I wanted to save it. But from the kind of last Instagram post that he's made, it does look as though he's immediately going into a new coaching program ask, which for me is slightly inauthentic. It's like you've been away for a year and a half, radio silence. You haven't kind of filled your audience in on how you're doing, like even with a community post or anything, and then immediately you're launching a new coaching program. Anyway, like I say, trying to reserve judgment, not always the easiest thing to do, but let's get into it. So I'm gonna share. One second. Let me just get this sorted. So good, right. Screen. What is that?
Hi, my name is Joseph Alai. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back, should I say. It's been a while since I've posted any type of video on YouTube. I am really excited to be able to get into what went down over this past year, and we will do that over this next upcoming set and series of videos that I'll be releasing on YouTube in the near future. I do want to say I am so happy to be back. There are a lot of awesome things coming in the future that I'm very excited to talk to you about. I think that you will really enjoy what is to come on this channel. You might notice I'm not in the same place. You might notice I don't have my camera gear here. I don't have my lights. I don't have my microphone. I'm using this one. In the near future, right, everything will be here. I think it's important. Thanks to one of my clients that I was speaking with over the past week, he was really harping on just release stuff. I don't care. He says, I don't care if you release the same video, same topic 3 times in a row. I'm going to listen to all that. And for me personally, I've had some writer's block over the past year with content. But now I've come to a point where I have decided that it would be unauthentic for me to persist the way that I have been, which really has equaled nothing. That's equaled me releasing nothing. And the reason for that is because just like the awareness that we are, that's expanding, God, our lives expand. We learn things, we experience things. And so over the past half of a decade that I've been making these videos, and over a decade that I've been really studying, putting to the test, mastering manifestation, I've been able to so thoroughly consume this information. And this is just the natural process of anyone mastering any content. You branch off into.
I'm trying to let him speak because I want to get into the crux of what's been happening and I want to hear him. But I also feel like I just need to make an almost immediate observation. And it's not necessarily a bad thing, but I feel there is something off. I feel, and again, I need to actually kind of rewind, go back to the start. I don't know Joseph Alai. I've never met him. I don't know him personally. I don't know his circumstances. I don't know what he's been going through. This is just purely my own personal feeling, vibe I'm getting from the video, comments that I've read, Instagram posts that I've read, stuff like that. Comments that people have made on my channel, on my previous videos about Joseph. I don't know whether this is the end of the troubles that we're seeing for Joseph. I'm just going to say that. I don't want to necessarily comment on specifically what it might be, because like I say, I just have no idea. There's been speculation around, is there some form of struggle with addiction going on? Is there some kind of maybe like autoimmune illness going on? Who knows? And it's not a bad thing to come back when you're still struggling, because sometimes actually you learn more from the journey. You know what I mean? It's not always good to just see this perfect, polished person. It's like Joseph is saying right now, life is expansion. That is the purpose of us being on this planet, to expand consciousness and to expand humanity. That doesn't always look pretty. It's the fact of it. You know, you can be a master manifester. You really can. You still need to experience contrast, because that is the point. That is what causes you to ask for more. So I'm not in any way saying that's a negative thing if he is kind of wrapped up in some kind of struggle still. But I'm interested to see what he kind of goes on to say, because what I want more than anything from Joseph is just the authenticity of, guys, I'm struggling. You know, if this video goes on to say, I've learned this and this and this and this year, I'm sure you have. But just be real, just be a human, just tell us what you've been going through. Anyway, let's give him an opportunity to do that. Here we go.
To more niche information, niche topic, as opposed to the generalized broad topics. And the reason I bring that up is because, aside from just manifesting, I've had many mystical experiences that I don't even touch upon or talk about, and that was just based on the fear of judgment, or the fear that my audience isn't going to like what I'm talking about. But again, like I said, that would be unauthentic. And I think that for me personally, my belief system, it is the greatest sin of all to not be your authentic self. It is the greatest sin of all to not be who you truly are born to be, in accordance with nature. And with that said, what am I talking about, right? My mastery of manifestation came not simply by reading a Neville Goddard book and just experimenting. No, we're talking about 13, 14 years of systematic experimentation. I had a decade before I even knew who Neville was that I was manifesting, that I was experimenting.
Okay. I like what Joseph's getting into here, and I completely agree with this. It's not just, here's the technique, go and do it. It's the person you become in the process, and that, I agree with Joseph. That's where the authenticity comes from. What journey have you been on that led you to get these insights? It doesn't, it's like Joseph says, it doesn't just come, oh, I read a book, oh, now I know how to do it. Like, not necessarily, maybe for some people, but in my experience and through people that I know, it's actually life. And like I say, it's not always pretty, that journey that you have to go on. Yeah, okay, let's continue.
Experimenting, testing it. I had my experience, my most powerful mystical experience.
He's also very out of breath, which I think is new for Joseph, which, yeah, I don't know what that is a symptom of, but yeah.
Experience came in 2011, I believe. It could have been 2012, early 2012, but either 2011 or early 2012, before I ever heard of Neville. And this was what Neville refers to as his most powerful mystical experience, the promise. I had that in 2012. I didn't hear about Neville until 2016, 2017, 2018, something to that effect. And so these things that shaped my experiences and that led me on a path to really master manifestation, to be able to create my reality the way I want. And what people generally say is the greatest understanding or the systematic explanation of manifestation in a way that they've never heard before, or Neville to the next level. That came not simply by studying Neville. That came by studying my own systematic testing, thousands and thousands of manifestations. That came from studying Neville. That also then came from studying and examining my mystical experiences. I would say a large portion of what I teach comes, yes, I quote Neville or I'll quote this person or that person, but it comes from my experience, and then I use the
Yeah, and I can see this and I agree with this, and maybe this is Joseph's way of trying to step away from Neville a little bit. Maybe Joseph feels, at least in some ways, that he's almost put himself in like a Neville box, which I can understand that's difficult to, when you feel that you have more kind of maybe material coming up that you want to share, like Joseph touched on in the beginning of his video, that you maybe feel there's some fear of judgment there because, oh, he's the Neville guy, but actually this isn't necessarily aligned with Neville's thinking, but I still believe in it and I still want to share it. So actually maybe this is a positive and a healthy thing that Joseph wants to move away from being the Neville guy. Like, that's, yeah, fair enough.
these people to validate it, because internally and incorrectly there's this thought or idea that people will believe me better if I quote someone else, right? And that's just standard. That's common practice for someone who's speaking with an audience. But again, as I said, it would be a disservice, dishonesty, and I would be unauthentic if I wasn't honest with where this information came from and also why and how I mastered manifestation. Like I said, I didn't just read a book. I didn't just listen to Neville's lectures. This is 12, 13, 14 years of systematic testing, obsessive studying, reading hundreds and hundreds of books, all of Neville's lectures. But not only that, I studied the Bible long before and in a mystical way, right? And so aside from that, what am I going to bring to the table now that differs from before?
I just want to touch on what Joseph is saying here quickly as well about, we're talking hundreds of books, we're talking, you know, however many hours of watching lectures and what have you. What about the connection with your own inner being? That was what just immediately jumped out to me of like, but Joseph, where are you in this? You know, I'm not going to say that anyone can regurgitate other people's material, because they can't. That is a skill within itself, to absorb and explain in a different way what other people have said. And there's no denying that Joseph is very good at that. But where are you in all of this? And again, maybe he's about to explain that, but I've said this before, there's an incongruency, and I feel that that's the missing piece of where are you in this? Where's your heart in this? Where's your truth in this? Like I say, we may find out.
Or that's going to cause me to continuously bring content that's going to help you manifest your desires. That's going to help you get your specific person. That's going to help you manifest the relationship that you want. That's going to help you get the money you want. It's going to get you the health you want, the body you want, whatever it is, the happiness, the mental health that you want. I'm going to be talking about non-duality. Non-duality is something that I discovered through a mystical experience of mine. I was on top of a building in a vision / mystical dream, and everything was overlaid in gold. And I was awake as I am now, but in a dream, I was aware I was dreaming. And everything was overlaid in this gold, as if you took a gold transparent filter and stuck it over a lens. That's how everything I was seeing. And in this experience, I was saying to myself, I am God and I am inside God right now. Now, I didn't know what this meant. I'm just saying this. And then as I'm saying this, there's many people climbing up a ladder. I'm on top of a building. And then they're climbing down the ladder on top of the building that I'm on top of. And it wasn't, when I came to, I made a note of this, as I do all my mystical dreams. And you could tell when something is mystical, when something is telling you something, right? Your dreams are your subconscious revealing to you something that it thinks you need to know, or it's a direct pathway from your higher self or God and your human mind or Christ. And so in this case, I knew it was the latter. I knew it was God giving me revelation. And it wasn't until weeks later I decided to search it up online. It kept eating at me. And I realized that what I had dreamt was, and I had no idea of this prior, was Jacob's ladder. And so from reading Neville, he describes it as man's journey through expanding awareness. And now I know that's true, but not only that, it's also telling us that we are God. That is what that verse is telling us. That story is telling us as well. And if I had never had that mystical experience and that revelation, I would never know that. I would never be able to share it with you. And you would never know that. That would be a disservice to you. That would be me being unauthentic. And so it's things like that.
Okay. And I hear what Joseph is saying. And this is something that's interesting to me as well, in that, so this experience that Joseph has had has given him a different perspective, which I have no doubt has led to either a specific method, just a new understanding of how to manifest, how the kind of 3D universe works, if you like. Now, my question is, can you then teach that to another person? Because it's not, words don't teach. As Abraham Hicks says, words don't teach, experience does. And it's only due to Joseph's experience here that he's gained new perspective. Now, it's like, I don't know what Joseph's about to say. And actually, I'm going to do a part 2 on this. But say, for example, he's about to kind of say a new method of, he like kind of gathered it from this experience. But that's for him. Do you know what I mean? God has given him that message. And this actually fundamentally comes back to what I don't particularly agree with a lot of teachers, is that method may well work for you. I'm not calling anyone dishonest. I'm not saying anyone's trying to like, badly influence people. But if that was given to you by God, I need what God wants to give me, and you need what God wants to give you. You know what I mean? It's not necessarily going to work. You're not going to have the same perspective unless you've had the same experience. So this is why I feel that if you want to be a teacher or a beacon in these kinds of teachings and laws, if you want to call them that, of the world and of the universe, you need to teach people how to listen to these things themselves for themselves, not necessarily teach them what's been given to you. So like I said, I'm going to do a part 2. I'm going to end this here. I'm going to do a part 2. The reason I do that is just because I don't like my videos to go majorly long. I like kind of 15 to 20 minutes. I think that's a personal thing of, I like that kind of length of video. So I also feel probably a lot of other people don't really want to be watching videos that much longer than that. But I will do a part 2. Of course, I'm going to finish this video. So I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys. Thanks.